Hey, I'm Dean Takahashi, editorial director at GamesBeat, and welcome to GamesBeat Live. We are spotlighting the trends and opportunities that define the Tokyo Game Show 2025 and the APAC region as well. Let me welcome Berkley Egenes, Chief Marketing and Growth Officer at Xsolla, and Juyeon Lee, Senior Vice President, APAC at Xsolla as well. So we're going to have a discussion on how developers and publishers and investors can navigate an industry that's both more global and more competitive than ever. And Juyeon, maybe can you start us off just talking about your journey in video games and what are some of the big things you're seeing happening at TGS?
Nice to meet you. I'm Juyeon Lee. This is my 7th year at the industry.
Mm-hmm.
Started from publishers from like Germany, Korea, Singapore, and then I moved to Xsolla 2016. And then since then, kind of in the payment industry. So yeah, that was my journey. And then I'm a gamer, so I have to.
And what do you see at TGS? Maybe that's
Wow, TGS is changing a lot. It used to be like a console, like AAA, all this together, and then last few years, I think it's more mobile. Obviously, there is still IPs and so on, but it's like a lot of indies coming out. So I think there are a lot of changes.
Yeah, awesome. And Berkley, like where do you see Japan and the APAC region compared to other regions around the world?
Sure, I would say it's very unique because not only is it the biggest in revenue that you see across the different regions across the world, but there's so many diverse subsectors or almost micro communities between the different countries, between Japan, Korea, Southeast Asia. Things you'll see and try in Japan may not work in Vietnam, as an example. That we see really that, you know, localization is a huge thing and a huge opportunity in this market versus others, versus Europe, that you can kind of roll out a standard package, but the localization of taking your game from one platform to another is very critical. The success, and particularly you see in here in this show, as Juyeon was saying, it's gone, you know, console, PC, and we're seeing a lot of mobile and like what's available today, and the practices from a monetization, from mobile apps to digital payments to digital wallets, and like what people are used to just trying to buy food here today, and like which payment method are we going to be able to use. I ran into a little bit of a challenge because I wasn't set up. So having that challenge and experience on the different payment applications, and you're going to see that become more localized, and things that developers are going to run into challenges for. And that's, you know, we're here to help and talk to them about, and how we can make it easier for them to do all the things they need to do to be successful.
And I just talked to Yoshida here, and he highlighted the greater presence of indies in Japan in particular. I don't know if you see that for the whole region as well, but yeah, it's pretty interesting to see this place that was so dominated by the AAA companies before.
For sure,
right?
For sure.
And so you guys have talked a lot about the value of direct to consumer. How do you see those discussions going on in APAC and also here at just TGS?
I would say here in APAC, it's even more important because there's so many unique cultures and what people are used to, what their play types are, what the games are that they're interested in playing. And like it may work in one geography and one not so much in the other, or even within an own country and an own geography, and putting that together to be able to own that experience. Particularly, we've talked a lot about mobile games recently because of the litigations and policy changes that are happening in the United States. And you're seeing that roll to Europe and then coming around here to Asia. And you're about to see a lot of those changes happen, so that it gives developers that opportunity to take back control, create customized offers, very personalized approach, create incentives that based on gameplay activities and user behavior, you can customize that experience and do that even on the localized level within a single geography. And then if you're a PC game, it's a similar idea in creating those opportunities online outside the platforms, and give those areas in these marketplaces that the Asia consumer is used to experiencing that isn't necessarily happening in the West. So it's a very unique time to take advantage, and it's really the power and the controls back in with the developers, which is great for the industry as a whole. And then at the end of the day, the players are going to win from those experiences too.
I'm guessing the sort of the period of time when it was like a legal cloud maybe was making a lot of the developers and publishers here shy, I guess, about direct to consumer. But with legal clarity now, I don't know, does it feel like there's enough legal clarity to
it does now? And we were talking to an accelerator program last night and talking about how you can do set it up for players in the United States for the direct buy button opportunities that you can have off platform. It's not here yet, but they understand what's going on. They can target the user in the United States that way and provide those opportunities. We're having more. We used to just pull up the terms of service in meetings, forget the presentation, just pull up the terms of service and say, this is what it says. Now it's a lot more clear, and you're seeing the numbers happen, and developers are playing other games to understand that experience of what's happening, and then they're going to try it themselves. And you're seeing that more and more and happening in the opportunities that you're running into here in APAC specifically, because we hear about it all the time, which is great. The games that are trying to go that way even further.
And Juyeon, what do you see as far as the challenges for developers from the West to enter into APAC?
There are a lot. So a lot of the developers or publishers still think APAC as a whole, but it's actually not. You know, it's a huge territory, the language, you know, as you mentioned, localization, regulations, and all this, like even the payment channels, how they actually use, you know, and then buy all these games or items, all those are different. So I think at the end of the day, they have to think about like, is it APAC now or is it like individual countries or territories? So that kind of thing, you know, they have to think about it because otherwise, they come in as like we often called it a European market. But what is European market? It's the same thing. So I think those customization for each market is extremely important, and it's really hard for the developers outside of this region can do. So.
Yeah, I often think of games by country and ecosystems as like developing and evolving at different rates, I think, and there's always like a food chain, and climbing your way up the food chain is always a very individual experience for every country. And so I you know, I know Malaysia is very proud to have Streamline Studios launch a game based on Malaysian IP, right? The Upin and Ipin game, and many other countries passed that hallmark many years ago, right? So they're not all in sync for sure. Yeah. So I guess, are there a few recommendations you have for any game developer just coming into APAC?
So again, you have to think about each market differently, localize your games, but also outside of the game as well. Like, but you are going to be really having hard time, and then a lot of resources are going to be needed. So find the right partner in local region who can help you with compliance, regulations, all of this together. Even like for us, it's tax is another issue in this region. It's changing a lot. The government is involved and so on. So yeah, all those things. If you have a right partner and then you're ready to put your effort on it, because it's a growing market. You have to come here anyways. So yeah, we can definitely help. But yeah, I think that's how you can actually enter this market.
And Berkley, like, what's next on the horizon for Xsolla and APAC?
We're going to continue to focus on growth and providing opportunities for our partners to be successful. We're going to be adding more payment methods into our already roster of over 1,000 different payment methods. We were here 2 years ago. That was the last time I was here at TGS, and we were in those beginning stages, and we brought Line and PayPay over here into Japan specifically, and it's made a huge difference for developers and players here in the market. But we're looking at that different areas. We don't have them all, but we're the ones that are important and that are local to the player and the developer. That's really a big focus of us here as well. And then educating what the possibilities are from direct to consumer, what you can really do from the web shops, what you can do from your mobile game, and monetizing outside the platforms and really taking control of that experience. We're having more conversations about best practices. How do I do this? How do we show people to do it? There's a lot more events still to go for the year. I mean, we're in September here, and it feels like we're rounding third base, getting into home, but we have a lot happening. There's this is the big Asia swing of events, really it is, between Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, and we'll be ending. We always like to end on a high note in Busan in South Korea. So there's a lot of conversations to be had and to set up, which is really nice because it's here at the end of the year to set up going into the next year and having a very successful 2026 for the game industry.
And your own thoughts, Juyeon, as well?
Yeah, I mean, this year we have a lot of events and here for second half actually, but even more than that, I think we have to work on the individual market, and then not only the branding itself, we have to let them know what's coming in this region for next year. So we're already kicked off for the strategy and then the market expansion plan in here. So yeah, it's a lot coming, and then we're finally kicking off with a lot of the actual results as well after all these years in APAC region. So especially in Japan, from this year we have a lot of partners, and then that's why we have our new head of Japan, and then expanding our office here as well. I mean, we already had an office, but yeah, we are hiring way more people. And then obviously for Southeast Asia and then other region, we have a different strategy, but also we are physically going there and then help other partners as well. So yeah, we're planning a lot of work, but we're excited and yeah, looking forward to it.
Seems like a good time for expansion. I think the fact that you're hiring, it feels like across the whole world, Asia is actually hiring many more people in the game business now than other big regions, and so it's there's something going right in Asia, and it's almost out of sync with a lot of the rest of the game industry in that way, and it's racing ahead.
I think it's something to just wrap up. It's something for the rest of the world to pay attention to and to learn what's going on here, because there's so many games coming out from this market monthly, and be able to do that, to really look at this as an opportunity of growth and expansion for the industry. And we're excited about what's going on, and we're excited to tell more of that story with you guys. We get the new report coming out here for G-Star, so check that out soon. We have to throw that little plug in there. Check it out. We're excited to be here, and thank you very much for hosting us for this opportunity to share the story.
All right, thank you very much. Always great to do it. Welcome to GamesBeat Live at the Tokyo Game Show. I'm Dean Takahashi, and I'm here with Shuhei Yoshida, who finished a 38-year career at Sony, including 31 years at PlayStation last year. And from Crash Bandicoot and Gran Turismo to God of War, Uncharted, and The Last of Us, Shu's influence helped shape gaming's most iconic franchises and my favorite games. Shu retired from Sony in January 2024, but he is not leaving gaming. He has his own consulting company now, Yospi, I guess, and Yospi Inc. And he continues to champion indie developers, his passion project, which was happening during his final years at PlayStation. So we're here at the TGS again. Do you have some fond memories of being here for your role at Sony?
Oh, yeah. Well, TGS has been, I don't know for how many years happened, but so I've taken different roles when I was producing games, showing off our games, so exciting. We brought our developers here and have talk to on stage and let them meet with fans and watch people play our games. It's always something very special. And also I work for platform as well, in some different role like third-party relations and showing off new hardwares here to let people try. Before the hardware comes out, for the first time, people get so excited and watch people try, especially the great things, most fun things I did was to help people try PlayStation VR for the first time. You remember the demos of like a Shark demo, right?
Yeah.
And, let people try it and they go, oh, that was all fun to watch how they react to their first experience of real consumer-based, VR experience. So all these fun memories.
Yeah, that's awesome. But
one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
When we were showing off the game by Quantic Dream, Detroit Become Human, the marketing team did amazing job. They hired a bunch of good-looking actors and let them behave like android.
Uh-huh.
And they did so good act that people couldn't tell if they are human or android. So that, people took videos and photos and that created huge buzz. And that really helped sell the game in Japan. So that was really fun thing to watch.
Nice. So you've retired from Sony, but tell us more about this new role you have and how you're working with indies.
Yeah, so the last 5 years at the PlayStation, my role was to promote, indie games on platform and also advocate the importance of supporting indie games inside the company. And that was really fun. And I made lots of friends in the indie community. And after I left Sony, January this year, luckily some of the friends in the indie community asked me to be an advisor for them. So I've been advising, for companies and also other, indies, random indies. They come to me asking my opinion about their new pitch deck or, prototype. And so I've been, checking what they do and giving them my honest, opinions. So
that's more companies than we talked about before. Are there some you can talk about?
Oh yeah, so I've been advising Kepler Interactive. They have had amazing year this year, Expedition 33 and Rematch.
Awesome.
Also Fictions is a new publisher formed by former Annapurna Interactive people. And, originally Annapurna Interactive founders used to work at Santa Monica Studios. They are external producing group for me, and they produce games like Journey, amazing creative indie games. But when I was running, First Party, the indie boom happened, and there's so many great indie games being produced, everywhere, and many great, the top of cream of the top indie games are coming to PlayStation platform. Anyway, so I felt like, there's no point of making, trying to make, small games by First Party because we are penalizing these games by just releasing on one platform. So I stopped funding small games. So these, very talented, creative external production team at Santa Monica Studio lost their work. So they left the company and formed Annapurna Interactive. So I have a long history of these people. I totally admire them, respect their work, and they started new companies, Fictions, and I've been helping them, luckily. And two developers in the my friends. One is Enhance, Mizuguchi-san's company, and they are showing off Luminous Arise at Tokyo Game Show, and another company, Boca Game Studio. They released Slitterhead last year. Toyama-san is a creator of Siren and Gravity Rush. They used to work for me at Japan Studio, so I've been advising them as well.
Yeah. A lot of these sound like triple I indies. But I wonder, how have you been finding all of these very interesting companies?
All the other, small indie teams, I don't need any money or contract, I just help them.
So, speaking of indies, one of the shows that has been very prominent in Japan lately is Bit Summit. And it started in 2013. I know Q Games and other folks were a very big part of getting it off the ground. What have you seen as far as the differences between what you see at TGS and Bit Summit?
Yeah, so TGS of course has a long history of showcasing games in Japan. But when I came back from US in 2008, I realized there are very few people in Japan who play indie games, and there are reasons for that. Because PC gaming was not popular in Japan. So the great indie games produced outside Japan, some of them were not localized for Japanese language or even released by publishers. So I felt there's so many great indie games being released. So it's a shame that Japanese people have no opportunity to play and find these great indie games. And TGS was run by big publishers. So at that time, there are no presence of these indie games at TGS. And then the pioneering group of developers based in Kyoto started Beat Summit. And they started very small. They are showcasing their games by themselves, and it became larger and larger. Got support from Kyoto City, and PlayStation team sponsored and joined. And I've been there from Beat Summit number 3, and I've been there every year since that. And I've seen the growth of Beat Summit in terms of numbers games and number of people attending and also reach, because it's the advantage of Beat Summit is based in Kyoto. So people outside Japan want to come to convince their bosses to allow them to come to Beat Summit to stay in Kyoto and check out games. So there are many media people came to Beat Summit as well. So that means a lot of good coverage of games showcased at Beat Summit, even outside Japan. So that really helped. And Tokyo Game Show started to have an indie area, and they got few good sponsors, including PlayStation and Nintendo, to sponsor games of 80 games every year to showcase for free. And I've been judges of selecting these 80 games, and every year the submission has increased. And this year the submission was over 1,300 games from all over the world. And outside these 80 games, there are many new indie publishers that formed in Japan. Many companies who are not traditionally a video game industry company started the indie publishing business in Japan. So that's all adding up to have a huge number of indie games in TGS now. So and I know a pioneer, and it's growing, and every year it's still the best indie game event in Japan. However, TGS is offering a great showcase of indie games as well. So it's great to have both Beat Summit and Tokyo Game Show happening twice.
I know Beat Summit has 58,000 people coming to it now, and that's a really good measure of just the indie market, right?
And last year was a pivotal year for Beat Summit because they doubled the floor space. And they even added more floor space this year because there's such a demand for showcasing games.
So what is sort of your assessment of the state of indie games in Japan? Then, how do you feel about it? Where do you think it's going?
So it feels almost at the verge of slow explosion. I mean slow because of the cultural things. Japanese people are very conservative and timid in terms of setting up their own venture and risking things. People grew up preferring to join large company and stay with the same company for a long time. However, bit by bit, the environment is improving. More and more indie publishing companies have started in Japan, and even Japanese government has some support and funding as well. And there have been some good indie game hit products for the last few years, like in the release series, Sakuna Hime's game, or Exit number 8, or Pearl World. All these are inspiring other developers and especially young people. So I'm a judge of like a student competition for creating games, and every year the number of entries have increased, and the quality of games made by these students are increasing. So I can see with this trajectory, more and more great games will come out from Japanese indie community.
So what do you tell these startups about the secrets to making a great game?
Oh well, there's no secret that what you want to play is always something new. In almost all cases, the great successful indie games have something very unique to it. They are doing something that other people are not doing. And every time I get asked to give an advice to young developers, I always tell them to think about what you could uniquely do, because there are so many developers globally. You should really think about how you can make your own game stand out from all these other games. One of the leverage everyone could have is the culture and how you grew up. When you grow up in the region, and if you take advantage of the history and legacy and culture and even music of the region, that might help your game to stand out. Because there's so many great games, the authenticity is so important, and to help you succeed. So that's I think is a secret.
That's the secret of Ghost of Yote, one of the biggest games coming from Sony this year.
That's amazing.
That in Hokkaido, right?
That game is made by Sucker Punch, the American studio. And I know how, they...
How do they get to be authentic?
They worked closely with studio people in Japan. Yeah.
Okay.
So
nice. So last question for you then is what's your own outlook for the game industry as a whole?
Well, I'm a very optimistic person, and to me, very simple. And every time a new technology is developed, it's always the games that take advantage of that technology. It's almost experimental, that people want to experiment with the new tech and how that helps create a new game experience. Whether it's 3D graphics or VR or internet, social network, or of course AI. Every advancement of technology will help your game to be new experiences. And look at like a PS5. The best thing that happened came with PS5 was the adoption of SSD, in my opinion. Every game, before PS5, like a PS4, PS3, when you die in an action game, like a Souls-like game, you have to wait for long load time, right? It's almost punishing you twice. You get beaten and you have to wait for the long load time.
Yeah.
However, on PS5, if you get immediately back to the game, that encourages you to keep trying, right? So in my opinion, PS5, SSD has made every single game a better game. So that's just an example of how the technological advancement helps your game better. And what I'm really looking forward to is like good use of AI should help people find the kind of games that people like. Like every store is now personalized. The store can look at your history of your purchase or playtime, or even your friends, what they are playing, and showcase the best kind of games that recommend to you. Or when you come to this event, you play a game and the developer is standing behind you, right? And they will help you navigate through the game to make sure that you have a great experience. Or take your take this item or avoid this, or to hit this button to heal, or like that. If the game can adapt in game like AI to help navigate the player through, and the player can adjust how much support they want, the game can make sure that every player have great time playing their game. So it's just an example, like playing games with or against other human is really fun, right? Online games. But I'm looking forward to the AI to develop to make it even the better and more fun collaborator or competitor. Some good online games, sometimes you wonder, am I playing against human or AI? So that means the AI is very good. And I'm sure that will keep advancing. So I'm very, very optimistic about the future of games.
Awesome. Well, this is the fourth time we've talked this year, so I really like your retirement. Like, I mean,
I don't have to ask approval by PR department to take interviews. So anytime for you.
All right. Awesome. Thank you very much. That's
Thank you.
Yoshida.
Thank you.